Right now, an entire town is sliding off a cliff into the Mediterranean. 4 kilometers of hillside have already collapsed. Houses hang suspended over a 25-meter precipice. Cars dangle from shattered foundations like toys tossed from a shelf. And the ground beneath 25,000 people is still moving. This is not a disaster that struck without warning. It is a catastrophe that has been repeating for 236 years. Why did anyone build here in the first place? Why did authorities allow construction to continue after every collapse? And why does no one know when this landslide will finally stop? The town of Niscemi sits in southern Sicily, perched on a plateau just inland from the coastal city of Gela. From above, the landscape appears peaceful. Terracotta rooftops cluster along winding streets. Olive groves stretch toward the horizon. The Mediterranean shimmers in the distance. But something is terribly wrong. Drone footage captured this week reveals a wound torn across the western edge of the town. A jagged cliff now marks where streets and homes once stood. Below the precipice lies a chaos of rubble, twisted metal, and shattered concrete. The landslide front stretches 4 kilometers across the hillside. In some places, the drop measures 20 to 25 meters. Civil protection crews have established a 150-meter red zone around the collapse area, but the boundary keeps shifting. The ground refuses to stay still. This was never supposed to happen again. After the 1997 landslide, authorities promised drainage systems and stabilization projects. They pledged to study the terrain and prevent future catastrophes. Those promises dissolved into bureaucratic delays and political disputes. Now, history has returned with a vengeance. The warnings date back more than 2 centuries. In March 1790, the hillside near Niscemi experienced what local witnesses called the chasma, a deep chasm that opened suddenly and terrified the population for 8 consecutive days. Saverio Landolina Nava, a naturalist and royal custodian of antiquities, traveled to Niscemi shortly after the event to document what had occurred. His 1792 account describes immense fissures tearing through the landscape. He recorded how masses of earth moved as if possessed by some internal force. Landolina Nava noted the formation of 2 inclined planes where stable ground had existed before. He described vapors rising from the cracks, carrying what appeared to be sulfurous odors. The event was so violent that witnesses compared it to volcanic activity. His scientific report, when read alongside the geological record, points to an implicit warning. This terrain was fundamentally unstable, and the patterns he documented in 1790 bear striking resemblance to what is occurring today. But the warning went unheeded. The geology beneath Niscemi explains why the ground keeps failing. The hill consists of alternating layers of sandstone and clay, a combination that becomes particularly treacherous when saturated with water. When heavy rain falls on this terrain, the sandstone allows water to penetrate deep into the hillside. The clay layers below become saturated and lose their structural integrity. What was solid ground transforms into a slow-moving mass of mud and debris. The Italian Institute for Environmental Protection and Research classifies the western and southwestern slopes of Niscemi as S3 and S4 susceptibility zones, the highest categories on a 4-point scale. This means the area has very high landslide susceptibility according to official geological assessments. Decades of urban development appear to have compounded the problem. According to geologists studying the site, water flowing from the town carved deep erosion channels into the slope, further weakening an already fragile foundation. The recipe for disaster was always present, it only needed a trigger. On October 12, 1997, that trigger arrived. Heavy autumn rains saturated the hillside and the ground began to move. According to contemporary accounts, residents reported hearing eerie creaking sounds from within their homes as the earth shifted beneath foundations. Eyewitnesses described the ground behaving unpredictably, with some accounts suggesting it rose and fell like waves. Trees uprooted across the affected area, cracks appeared in walls and spread across floors within hours. Approximately 400 residents fled their homes during that crisis. Remarkably, no one died, but the psychological scars ran deep. In the aftermath, officials announced urgent stabilization measures. They spoke of drainage systems that would channel water away from vulnerable slopes. They discussed engineering interventions that would anchor the hillside in place. The plans never fully materialized. Years passed, memory faded. Available evidence suggests construction continued on the unstable terrain, adding more weight to slopes that could barely support what already existed. The 2026 disaster's scale implies that development expanded into areas that geologists would have considered high risk. The next disaster was only a matter of time. Cyclone Harry arrived in mid-January 2026 with a fury rarely seen in the Mediterranean. Between January 18th and 21st, the storm system unleashed hurricane-force winds exceeding 120 kilometers per hour. Waves off the Sicilian coast reached 12 meters, with some readings suggesting even higher peaks further offshore. But for Niscemi, the rain was the real weapon. Weather stations across southern Italy recorded extreme precipitation, with some areas in Calabria seeing nearly 570 millimeters in 72 hours. While exact figures for Niscemi remain under assessment, the regional pattern suggests the town received rainfall well above seasonal norms. The already saturated soil absorbed what it could, then surrendered. On Sunday, January 25th, the collapse began. Gaetano Ferreira was inside his home when the evacuation order came. He had only minutes to act. Based on accounts from evacuees, the sounds of shifting earth and cracking foundations likely preceded the official warnings. He had only a few minutes to gather what he could. His 2 teenage daughters grabbed phones and chargers. His elderly parents moved slowly, overwhelmed by the sudden upheaval. The family carried a single bag between them as they rushed into the street. Behind them, the edge of their neighborhood was disappearing. Ferreira locked his door as he left, a gesture of hope that he knows may prove meaningless. His house sits in the red zone now, one row back from where the cliff edge continues to advance. The family found shelter at a local sports arena, sleeping on cots among hundreds of other evacuees. Mobile kitchens arrived to provide hot meals. Volunteers distributed blankets and bottled water. But no one could answer the question every evacuee was asking: when can we go home? The scale of destruction became clear only from the air. Drone footage released by Italian civil protection authorities showed entire buildings torn in half, their interiors exposed to the elements. Foundation walls dangled over empty space. A car remained suspended at the edge of a collapsed garage, its rear wheels hanging over a 20-meter drop. The landslide did not strike and stop. It continues advancing. Civil Protection Department Chief Fabio Ciciliano arrived to assess the situation and delivered a blunt assessment. The entire hill is collapsing onto the plain of Gela. Houses located on the edge of the landslide obviously can no longer be inhabited. Permanent relocation will be necessary for many families. The number of evacuees climbed steadily. Initial counts reported 500 people displaced. By Monday, the figure exceeded 1,000. By midweek, more than 1,500 residents had been forced from their homes. And the number keeps rising. Each day brings new collapses. Sections of terrain that appeared stable in the morning have crumbled by nightfall. The landslide front retreats deeper into the town, consuming additional homes with every surge. Geologists monitoring the site cannot predict when the movement will stop. Luigi D'Angelo, the Civil Protection Agency's head of emergency management, explained the frustrating reality. Authorities must wait for the rains to stop and for soil moisture to decrease before they can even assess how to intervene. Heavy rain is forecast for the coming days. This means the worst may not be over. Another 20 meters of terrain could collapse, impacting additional homes currently considered safe. The red zone could expand again, forcing new evacuations and displacing more families. Scientific assessments confirm what longtime residents already sensed. This event exceeds the 1997 disaster in both scale and direct threat to inhabited areas. Pappalardo, professor of applied geology at the University of Catania, issued a stark warning. The landslide front extends for about 4 kilometers and directly affects the houses facing the slope. The situation is repeating itself, with even more significant characteristics. The comparison to 1997 offers no comfort. Infrastructure damage has isolated parts of Niscemi from the surrounding region. 2 provincial roads leading to the town have been swallowed or blocked by debris. All schools remain closed indefinitely. Emergency access routes have flooded or collapsed, complicating relief operations. Technicians are using drones and satellite imagery to track the landslide's progression in real time. They map ground displacement down to the centimeter, watching the hillside shift hour by hour. The data feeds into models attempting to predict where the next collapse might occur. But geology does not follow schedules. The terrain moves when internal stresses exceed its strength. No algorithm can forecast the exact moment of failure. The absence of fatalities represents a narrow escape. Rapid evacuation saved lives that would certainly have been lost if residents had remained in their homes. The cracking and creaking that warned Gaetano Ferreira gave others just enough time to flee. How many will ever return remains unknown. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni arrived by helicopter on Wednesday, surveying the gashed hillside and deep fissures scarring the fields below. She met with local officials and promised swift assistance, acknowledging the long delays in compensation from the 1997 disaster. The federal government declared a state of emergency covering Sicily, Calabria, and Sardinia. An initial allocation of €100 million was set aside for immediate relief across the 3 regions. The sum sounds substantial until compared to the damage estimates. Sicilian regional officials now calculate total losses from Cyclone Harry at €2 billion. The Niscemi landslide alone accounts for a significant portion of that figure, with destroyed homes, ruined infrastructure, and displacement costs accumulating by the day. Regional President Renato Schifani acknowledged that questions about why construction was permitted on high-risk terrain were legitimate, but he deflected deeper inquiry, emphasizing that immediate response must take priority over assigning responsibility for past decisions. The political deflection follows a familiar pattern. Based on the historical record, we can assume similar institutional responses occurred after the 1997 collapse. Landalina Nava's warnings in 1792 evidently went unheeded, given that construction continued on the same unstable terrain for centuries afterward. Geologist Giuseppe Amato, who heads water resources for the environmental organization Legambiente in Sicily, offered a blunter assessment. Niscemi is another alarm bell. We must respond by changing our habits and choosing not to build in certain ways and in certain places. His warning carries weight because Niscemi represents a pattern, not an anomaly. In 2025 alone, Sicily experienced 48 exceptional weather events, ranging from violent storms to extreme heat. The Mediterranean island has become what climate scientists call a hotspot, a region where changing conditions amplify the frequency and intensity of weather extremes. According to data from ISPRA, more than 684,000 landslides have been recorded across Italy. The number of significant events has increased dramatically over the past century, from 162 documented landslides in the late 1800s to more than 2,200 between 1950 and 2008. Over 1.28 million Italians currently live in areas classified as high or very high landslide risk. Nearly 95% of Italian municipalities face some degree of threat from landslides, floods, or coastal erosion. Niscemi is not unique, it is simply the latest example. The evacuees sleeping in the sports arena tonight do not need statistics to understand their situation. They have lost homes, possessions, and any certainty about the future. Some families have lived in Niscemi for generations, their roots as deep as the clay layers that have now betrayed them. Rosario Kona, a 45-year-old farmhand, watched the hillside collapse on Sunday. He described how the land simply dropped away. His family home sits one row back from the cliff edge, and he does not know if it will survive the next round of rain. "We watch houses falling," he said. "This is normality for us." The question that hangs over Niscemi is the same question that haunts communities across Italy, across the Mediterranean, across every region where people have built on unstable ground. How long can a town continue to exist when the earth itself refuses to stay in place? Scientists cannot predict if or when the landslide will stop. They cannot guarantee that engineering interventions will succeed where nature has failed for centuries. They can only monitor, measure, and wait. The hillside keeps moving, the rain is coming, and 25,000 people are watching the edge of their world slowly crumble away. What happens next is something no one can fully control.